Matthias, welcome to Global Talk Show by Business Power Academy, Netherlands. And today in this show, we have an amazing guest from UK, Claudine Matthews. Welcome, Claudine, to our show today. It's been an honor hosting you today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Priya. It's amazing to be invited, and I'm excited to engage with the audience, engage with you, and hopefully, we can have fun together as well.
Well, before I take a lovely deep dive, inspiring dive, must say this, with my great guest, let me apprise of Claudine. She is a lecturer, she's a global speaker, primary care network dietitian, post writer, and most important, a very, very humble person. So I am so excited to take this journey on. And Claudine, people are so excited to know about your inspiring journey, where you are today at a greater height of success. So I pass the dice to your quote. Kindly lighten your great, inspiring, and motivating journey to millions of people who are watching us live today.
Thank you so much. Yes, as I was saying before we started, that the Claudine that I am today, it was not the Claudine that I was when I started the journey. I grew up in South Africa, and many of you would have heard of the apartheid regime. And that was basically where, based on the color of your skin, you were allowed to live in a certain area, go to certain schools, and, you couldn't study where you wanted to. And that had a really big and profound impact on me, because I internalized that for me to believe that I wasn't good enough. I wasn't clever enough. I couldn't be all that I wanted to be. And so for many years, I lived that kind of life. I describe it, and I use that word or describe myself in that time as being disempowered. And that's actually the word, that the main word in the title of my first book that I wrote, Overcoming Disempowerment. And in that book, I describe the impact that had on me. And I would imagine that for me, it was apartheid in South Africa, but for many other people, it may be a different set of circumstances. But the thing that really stood out for me during that time was that I just couldn't see the value of who I am. I couldn't appreciate the gifts and the abilities that I had. And it kept me stuck, for many, many years. It kept me limited for many, many years. And although I did achieve, so I did have ability to learn. So I learned, but the thing that I wasn't able to do was I wasn't able to move on. I wasn't able to extend that to the degree that I'm able to do that now. And I really want to encourage our listeners, with that, not to become bogged down and to believe that, I call it the lies of some of our circumstances, because I believed those lies. I believed I wasn't good enough because someone else said that you can only study there. You can only study this. You can only live there. And I believe that to be that I wasn't good enough, and I was just good enough to be, in a certain position and so forth. And but I'm thankful. I've sort of come through that. I had since I moved from South Africa to the UK. So you introduced me as being from the UK. But I moved to the UK in 2000 with my husband, Ashley. And when I came to the UK, I was introduced to really wonderful people, and particularly a friend that I met in the UK. She became a mentor to me, and she did a wonderful thing for me. She helped me to see past the limits that I saw for myself. She helped me to look inside and see all the wonderful goodness and abilities and value and worth that I had within me. And so that was a big turning point for me, I think, coming to the UK and being in a different environment, because sometimes when you grow up in an environment that is limiting, like I grew up in, and you don't really have the role models, because people might be going through the same things that you have, so they don't know how to help you. And if you don't, so it was really good to come to the UK to meet wonderful people that were ahead of me, so it was a mentor, but someone that was ahead of me, someone that could show me, Claudine, there's so much more than what you have inside of you. And so that was really wonderful. And that started this whole journey of transformation, that I will share a little bit more about. And so that was my beginnings all the way in apartheid South Africa, where, I believe that I was not a lot. I believed that I couldn't. I believed that I was invisible. I believed that I was disempowered. I couldn't achieve. To now in 2023 being this transformed person and doing things I never ever thought was possible to me. And I really want to encourage our listeners. So keep listening so I can share a little bit more. Thank you.
Wow, this is so great, Claudine. When you told about your journey from South Africa, how you started, how you moved on. And in this journey, you were just keep moving on and on, on and on. So this was the beauty of your journey, that you had never given up in any of your point. And as you said about your turning points of your life, you moved on. And this was really fabulous to know. All the global audience, take advice, take some motivation and inspiration from Claudine's journey, that life means to move on, and life is a never ever an ending process. It has to move on, and that's what Claudine's life is reflecting and giving us positive vibes. Thank you so much, Claudine, for this loveliest answer.
Thank you.
And if I move forward in this journey with Claudine, I'm sure, Claudine, the place, the height of success where you are today, it's not an easy journey. And as a woman, what kind of challenges you had faced in your life, and how did you overcome? Because my female feminine leaders are always waiting for this answer so that they can get motivated and they can move forward whenever they face any challenges as a woman. So kindly enlighten this question.
Thank you. So I think the main challenges for me stemmed from my starting point, this journey of what I call disempowerment. And three things stand out for me are the main challenges. The first one was that a lot of what I believed about myself kept me limited. So our thoughts, our thinking, how we see yourself, we can become our worst enemies. And I was my worst enemy because I believed lies of circumstances to hold me captive. So I really want to encourage our listeners, our emerging leaders, our beautiful women, global women, that it starts here. The overcoming, the battle is in your mind, and you are the one person that can help to release that, but you have to recognize where this battle is, and it's literally there. That was my battle. I believed that I couldn't. I believed I wasn't good enough. And I used to blame the circumstances of where I was. And until I had to come face to face with what was I believing, and until I changed those belief patterns, those limiting thoughts, change happened. Up until that point, I was kept captive. I was almost a prisoner in my own mind. And I really want to encourage you that if you allow that to stay that way, if you allow yourself to keep believing I call it the lies and the truths that we believe about ourselves, the stories that we tell about ourselves, is all in the mind. But I want to encourage you to get to the point where you start changing the narrative by changing your thinking, by changing your mind, by adopting and filling your mind with positive things, by listening to people, by listening to talk shows like this. Start reframing your thinking, and I can guarantee you things will start to turn for you, but it starts with your mind. The second thing for me was that I couldn't see what was naturally inside of me. I couldn't see the talents and the gifts and the abilities that I had within me. I'm actually a really good dancer, and I didn't see that. I couldn't see that I had that ability within me because of my thoughts, because of how limited I was in my thinking. And so therefore I couldn't see that I could dance really well. I couldn't see that I was a good speaker, a natural speaker. For me, it was like, I can't, no, it's for someone else, it's not for me. And I love people, but I couldn't see that and I couldn't maximize that. So when you change your thinking, then you are more inclined to be able to see all the natural passions you have, all the goodness, all the abilities, all the talents that you have within you. And that was my problem for a long, long time. But thankfully, because of my change in thinking, I've been able to overcome that. And the third thing, which is so, so important, is what I lacked for so many years of my life was value and worth. I didn't think that I had any value. I wasn't worth anything. I didn't have anything to offer. And so many of our women, we find ourselves in that position. And so therefore, we retract. We find our little comfort zones, our caves of comfort, and we stay there because it's safe. But I will say it's very, very boring. And it's very limiting if you decide to stay in your cave of comfort. And that is what I had to do. So again, changing my thinking, seeing things in a different light, starting to believe the truths of who I am, starting to see the natural abilities and gifts that I had within me, allowed me then to be able to see my value and my worth. And that's what I want for you guys. So those are the three main challenges that I experienced. And how did I overcome that? I don't know if that's the next question, but is it okay that I just carry on with that? Or
Exactly.
so
I'm waiting for this answer.
so I'll just carry on, because this is the foundation of my journey of transformation from disempowerment to empowerment. And actually, it started in 2008. So I remember I told you in 2000, I came to the UK. And in 2008, this friend of mine, Grace, invited me to a Women in Leadership conference. So I went to this conference, in this old thinking that I'm not a leader, I'm not good enough, I can't do. And she invites me to this event and I'm thinking, why am I here? But what was lovely, about the event, is it was celebrating the 7 deadly sins of women in leadership.
Wow.
And the first deadly sin was a limiting self-perception. So as soon as I heard those words, it's like a light bulb went on in my head. And it was like, Claudine, that was your problem. You were living with a limiting self-perception. You saw yourself through a limited lens. And a lot of our ladies, a lot of us, that is where we find ourselves. We live that way. But in that moment, when the light bulb went on for me, it was like, oh my goodness, that was the problem. And then I had to go away. What do I do with this information? But it stirred up something within me. And for you, it might be a different occasion. It might be reading a book. It might be listening to today's program that becomes your light bulb moment. But that was my light bulb moment. And it inspired me to go on to do my master's. Now, in South Africa, I never believed that I was clever enough to do a master's. But when I had my light bulb moment, something inside of me, just awoken, and I wanted to do a master's. And I did a master's in leadership. And when I did the master's in leadership, I developed what I want to share with you very quickly. And I call it the personal empowerment framework or model. And that is my roadmap from disempowerment to empowerment. So firstly, I call it the PrEP model. So it's all about your personal culture. So who you are, really getting to know who you are, what are the things holding you back, and then deciding to take action. The second step is reframing, taking a different perspective or a different view to the things or the problems, the circumstances that you would normally do. I had to do that. The E is efficacy. I had to start believing that I can rather than that I can't. And then the fourth point is the potential. I had to start seeing the potential that I had within me, because remember, I believed I couldn't. I believed I wasn't good enough. I was in this cave of limitation and disempowerment. And so those are the 4 steps. So I had to pay attention to who I was. I had to change my thinking. I had to believe that I can, and I had to step out of my comfort zone and tap into the potential that was within me. Those are the 4 things that really helped me to transform and to move from disempowerment to empowerment. And I want to encourage you today, if you've not taken notes, I'll tell you very quickly. First step, know who you are, personal culture. Second step, reframing, take a different perspective and modify your thinking. E, efficacy, believe that you can rather than you can't. And P, potential, step out of your comfort zone and be brave to do the things you never thought you could do. That's my answer. Thank you.
Claudine, today on this global talk show, people who are watching us live and who are going to watch this video later, you have motivated today millions, especially our female leaders, those who think, who can't do, who can't move out of their comfort zone. And you have guided them a shining path where they have to move out of their comfort zone and they know their worth. Because we women are giving so many discounts to us. We are 10%, we are 5%, we are not capable. We are only inside the four walls of our house. But that is not the fate. And that's what we can see from your beautiful, inspiring journey, that every turning point of your life said only one thing: move, Claudine, you can do. And you did it. So we have to analyze, evaluate ourselves, because there is no one who can push you, who can tell, yes, you are worth, you have to do. It's you. You will make you or break you. So the option is in your hand, and you have to decide what is your roadmap, what is your fate. And later on, we all blame our destiny, but do believe destiny is made by you only. So walk on and never ever give up on your dreams. Thank you so much, Claudine, for inspiring, motivating even me too. I'm so elated to listen to your challenges, and every challenges I can say is an opportunity for you. What you have seen as a golden opportunity, what's the opportunity behind? It's hidden, and that's the beauty of your challenging journey. Awesome one, and I really hats off to you, your great work. So moving on to another question. It's not another question, but another segment. And in this segment, Claudine, kindly enlighten your great work. I know you're a great author, you have written a book. So I am waiting for your beautiful book, which you're going to enlighten just now. Yeah.
Thank you. So I've been speaking a little bit about the book that I've written, and the title is Overcoming Disempowerment. And it was my passion, and I know we'll be coming on to a few questions afterwards, but it's my passion and my hope that my story can inspire others to believe that they can, to believe in their impossible. And so there's a couple of things in the story that in the book that I speak about. So I speak about my journey, because it's so important that we all have a story, isn't it? We all have our story. But like Dr. Priya said, that what I was able to do was I was able to use the adversity of my story to reframe that and to turn it into an opportunity for me to grow, for me to transform, but also to be in a position where I can help other people. And so this book is literally that tool that I want to share with you just now. It's as I said, it's titled Overcoming Disempowerment, and it's 10 courageous steps to lead yourself first to living empowered and purposeful, because I think that's really, really important. We all know a lot because we've read, we've listened to talk shows, we've had mentors and stuff. But if we only stop at the knowing, if we only stop at the reading and we don't take action, then we're not going to get to the end point, to the outcomes that we want. And so what this book does, it takes you through a 10-step journey from, your story and identifying those things that were limiting you and holding you back, to taking specific steps to get you to where you want to be. And I speak about the overcoming model in this book, and it's three aspects of it. So it's about seeking. The first part of this model is seeking. And that is sort of what I've been speaking about a lot, is the seeking bit is to understand your story, to identify those things that are holding you back, so that you can use that, turn it around, reframe it, into an opportunity where you can really step in and tap into what's inside of you. And an important aspect of this book is actually chapter 2, which is about the leader within. And you remember I told you how in 2008, I had my epiphany or my light bulb moment. And that was actually me discovering the leader within. And I do believe if for women, for particularly, because we tend to not see ourselves in that way. Dr. Priya said, we have 5 hats, 10 hats, so many hats. But if we don't see the leader within us, those 10 hats, whatever many hats that you have, they're not really gonna be able to, you're not gonna be able to manage that effectively because you haven't really tapped into your power source. And I believe the internal power, the leadership within us is a really important aspect. So we have to start tapping in to the leader within. And remember, you do not have to have a leader in your title. I've never had a leader in my title, but I've had to draw out the leader within me because that helped me to do what? It helped me to make the best decisions that I can to move myself further forward. So you have to tap into that, and don't wait for someone to call you that. No, because that's what I did. I expected, for someone to call me that, for me to be that. No, you're not. Every woman a leader is my motto. So you are a leader. So really embrace that. Tell it to yourself. Even if you don't believe it at the moment, start telling yourself you are that. So the book sort of starts with tapping into the leader within you. And then it goes on to the second part of this model, which is the transforming part of this model. And this is where the hard work happens. You can't win a battle if you don't engage. You can't win the battle. So you have to face up to the battle, whatever that might be for you. It could be studies, it could be family, it could be work, it could be anything. But if you don't prepare for that battle, if you don't face the battle, if you don't prepare for the battle, if you don't engage in that battle, then you will stay with your story and your story can't work for you. But it starts with the leader within, and then through that thinking good, wholesome thoughts, and then acknowledging sort of, what is this thing that I'm facing? What is this challenge? What is this thing holding me back? Preparing for it, taking action to prepare for it, and then engaging. Pushing through, don't give up, because what we do as women, sometimes when it becomes too big, we're like, no, it's not for me, it's for someone else. No, that's precisely the point. And that's why you have to tap into the leader within. You have to empower yourself. And I call it personal leadership empowerment, because it's from that point of personal leadership empowerment that we are able to fight. We are able to engage. We are able to push through those things that potentially hold us back, those things that keep us in our comfort zone, those things that keep us from achieving the things that we know and we would love to achieve. Yeah. So the second part is this transforming part, but it starts with personal leadership empowerment. And then the third part of the model I speak in here in the book is the aspiration. We have to get to a point where now we've fought this fight, we've pushed through. Yeah, we have to aspire. You have to set yourself that goal. You have to have the vision of where you want to be. And you have to push through and work through. Yeah, because if we don't have aspirations, and I was that, when I was disempowered, I had no aspirations. I was in my comfort zone. I was in my cave of comfort. Dr. Priya, you can do it. Claudine, you can do it. No, we can all do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And so, but it starts with you aspiring, having this desire to, remember I spoke about my 4-step process, the potential. That is the important bit. The potential, and what the word potential means is something you have not yet done. Yeah. And for many of us, we have a lot of things that we've not yet done. And so it starts with aspiring to the thing that we've not yet done. It may be the one thing, and be brave and decide, and that this one thing that I want to do. And for me, never thought I would write a book. Never thought I would write a book. I wrote the book. Never thought I would do a master's. I did the master's. Never thought I would do a doctorate. Dr. Priya, I mentioned, well, last Monday actually was when I submitted my doctoral thesis for examination. Never thought that I would ever be able to achieve at that level. And so I want to encourage you. If you want to get a copy of the book, it's on Amazon, however you want to do it. But I hope that, you can take away really important nuggets. The seeking aspect is important, to know your story, identify those things from your story that are your limitations that you can reframe into opportunities to achieve. But it starts with that personal leadership empowerment. It starts with being able to make really good decisions and choices. Yeah, it starts with coming face to face with the battle. It starts with preparing yourself for this battle. It starts with engaging, pushing through, not giving up, not retreating, but pushing through. And then you aspire. Set that goal. Be brave. Push your boundaries. Push your limits. You never know where you can end up. And my story and my journey is a testimony of what you can do when you change your thinking, when you start seeing who you are, and when you acknowledge the value and your worth within you, and you surround yourself with beautiful people, and you listen to Dr. Priya and her global talk show, you never know where you will end up. Thank you.
Awesome, Claudine. And yes, here I would request my all global audience to go through this book, because this book will really change your life and really, really make you smile. So go through this book, make your life easy and simple. And before I say goodbye, Claudine, I'm waiting for your beautiful message.
Thank you. So I want to actually share a quote from my book, and this is chapter 6. And the title of this chapter is Stand Up and Fight Your Fight. So I want to carry on with that empowerment. So you have to stand up, be brave, stand up and fight your fight. And I want to read you a quote from Maya Angelou. And it says, stand up straight and realize who you are, that you tower over your circumstances. Yeah, stand up straight. I don't know where you are. Are you lying down? Are you sitting? But I want you, all of us, sit up straight, stand up straight, realize who you are, that you tower over your circumstances. And I want to leave you with 3 things. And this is my motto, and this is what I believe in. You have to have vision. That aspiration, where you want to be, starts with vision. So write down your vision. My challenge to you is today, write down your vision. Be brave, write it down. The second one is have clarity. Yeah, have clarity on who you are. So like I said in my story, know your journey, know your limitations, write it down, but start reframing that into your opportunities to achieve. So have clarity. And the third thing is step into your purpose. And the only way you can step into your purpose is if you see yourself as valuable, you have value, and you have worth. And that is that we have to live in your purpose. Live in your purpose. So vision, clarity, and purpose. Be brave. Step out of your comfort zone and do the thing that you never thought was possible to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome, Claudine. And thank you so very much for coming to our show and enlightening everybody's life, everybody's soul, and everybody's passion. And today, you have inspired millions of people. You have touched everybody's heart. The people who are thinking that they cannot do any work, you have given a source of inspiration, motivation to move forward and do what you have never thought in life. So thank you once again, Claudine, for coming to our show and enlightening everybody's life. God bless you. Stay happy, hale and hearty, Claudine. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I enjoyed every moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my global audience. And yes, Don't forget to love us, to like us, and I wish you all the best for your success, luck, those who ever watching us. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now.